Yes, this feels good because that's what we're doing. We're feeding our soul good stuff. And the good stuff that we're feeding right now is from One Love by Dr. Ruth Anderson, who is sitting right beside of me, even though it looks like we're divided and we're in different portions. We really are right together. So welcome, Ruth. And we have Jean L'Oreal, Christina Leftwich, and Linda Lemieux with us today to do a discussion about this beautiful book. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
And for any of you that are in the book club that are maybe finding this right now, if you're in our virtual audience, you're welcome to come in. The link is in the book club. It's called Soul Food Book Club on Facebook. And you can come on with us and hold the discussion. We're going to be discussing chapters 1 through 8 today of this wonderful, amazing book. I have gotten so much out of this book. I even, in addition to reading, I like more than one visualization or more than one way of receiving information. So in addition to reading it, I have Siri read it to me. And I think I even said that to Ruth when I first got it. The first time I got it, it was on Kindle. And on Kindle, you can say, Siri, read me One Love, and she reads it. So now I can not only hear her read it, but I can read along. And that does make the information go in more when you do that. But let's talk about One Love. And anybody that wants to open up the conversation about what you're getting from this wonderful book.
Trooper wants to go first.
Trooper is ready for this meeting. Any questions that you have or discussion that you have? Let's get right into it.
I just wanted to say that I enjoyed the format of this book as well, even though it was totally different from the last book that we had's format. I enjoyed very much the short stories. I really liked that. I just got this book yesterday and I thought, oh my gosh, how am I going to be able to read 8 chapters by the time, the book club rolls around? But honestly, because it was in short story form, I think myself at this point in time, especially between yesterday and today, I don't think I would have been able to read a book if I had to consecutively read and not have it broken up for me. Do you know what I'm kind of getting at? So for me, it was timely in its format where I read quite a bit of this book by the time this has rolled around. And I just, like I said, I really enjoyed the short story format and I related to a lot of it. And it also served as a reminder to me, again, to look back in my own different classes that I've taken through the years. And I've shared before that I found a journal that was written from 1995. And that's when I started taking some of these herb classes and just the things that you speak of, the Reiki came about. And it was just kind of fun for me to just kind of revisit and retouch base right now with some of those things that haven't necessarily been in the forefront of my thoughts at this time. And I'm just thinking, wow, lots and lots and lots of tools. And it was interesting to see how, yes, they did create building blocks. As I go back and look at my own experience through a different lens that's yours, how look at all these building blocks and they've all added up to where I am now. And the more building blocks I put into play, the more I've just ready to receive even more. I've seen how that works now. But anyways, I just wanted to share just how the divine timing of how distracted and brain foggy I'm feeling lately. So I want to be like, I couldn't have handled something that I had to get in depth with right now, not in the last 24 hours. No, but this was perfect.
Thanks, guys.
Bite-sized, good way to put it.
Christina, you bring up such an important point, though. When you look at how far you've come and all of the little stepping stones that it took for you over the years to get to the place that you are now, I'm just reminded how we each have our own spiritual curriculum. I think it's fascinating. And I really do believe that whatever life path we choose to take, we would still get to this place today. It just might have come through different people or different experiences. I love that we each have our own curriculum.
And that's okay.
Oh, it's perfect.
Yes, that's the way it's meant to be. You know, we are all our unique beings. And yes, we're going to have different things at different time, but you're absolutely right. I concur totally with the how did I get here and how did you get here, and how, you know, we're all given the tools one way or another.
I wanted to build on Christina's statement. I really liked it. And is adding to that is, for me, is life experiences and some of the things I didn't think I would be able to get through, but I did. And I've learned lessons, and I've learned not to be a victim. And the spirituality is coming along with that or because of that. So any growth, looking back, if it was challenging, it was growth. But it takes a little perspective to see that. So I would love to finish the book and then go back in a year and read it again, because I will have hopefully gotten wiser by then as well, or had more good experiences. So, I mean, yeah, and I liked the format as well, as far as breaking it up and reading the short stories, and I like it like that.
One of the things that I was thinking last week or 2 weeks, whenever that was, that we first started talking about this book, and I said to you, if you have time, a little bit of might be to write down those game-changing moments that you have had along the way. And I don't know if any of you took the time to do that, but I was thinking this morning, as I was looking back over my book, I was thinking about 4 game-changing moments that I had. And I'm hearing, if you guys are interested, for you all to write up your game-changing moments. And maybe we can do something with that on Enlightened World Online, which is the website that goes with Enlightened World Network, and post some of your game-changing moments, because those were those pivotal stepping stones in your spiritual growth. And some of the ones that I talk about in this book is my girlfriend Sylvia's death, when I realized that there's a whole nother world out there that I had gotten little snippets of before, but I hadn't put all the pieces together, that there really is life outside this realm. When Archangel Michael introduced himself to me, total game changer. When I received the lesson about one love, that the answer isn't religion, the answer is relationship with the spiritual divinity. I'm getting goosebumps saying that.
When you said that.
Total game changer for me. And then one last one that I don't think had happened yet when I wrote this book. Why did Holy Fire Reiki attunement? And at that attunement, I was shown Enlightened World and Enlightened World Network. Totally changed the last 4 years of my life. So I would ask of you all, sit back, do some journaling, do some thinking. What were those game-changing moments for you, where you can say, now that I've had this life experience, I can never go back and not know this?
When I started reading the book, it was kind of strange, because my first thought was, oh, I've never experienced enough. I've never, I know this is going to sound strange. I've never suffered enough. I've, like all the other light workers have. And then I started thinking about the things that happened in my life. And I thought, oh yeah, well, I did have that. And oh yeah, that happened. And that used to happen. And I started thinking, well, yeah, there are some things in my life. And I think because I've come into, I would like to call it the truth, the love truth, that later in life than some of you, I'm new in a way. I'm new. I mean, I've had these experiences, but I'm new to discovering, well, like you were before Sylvia, and so when you started talking about, your learning, it was like a pattern of what's happening to me now. The things that I'm learning, the things that I'm, it's, I have a lot more steps to take is what I think it is. But the thing is, I'm moving towards that, and maybe even a little faster than I can get hold of sometimes, and it's like with Christina, I feel foggy a lot and feel like so much is coming at me that I'm like in a Neverland kind of place. But no, it's and they're right about the stories. That's how you relate. That's how you relate to people, is through the stories of what they've experienced. And you say, well, yes, yeah, I remember I experienced that too. And so it makes you want to go further on. So I'm really enjoying the book. I haven't read as much as Christina because I read it till Saturday, and I don't know why I find myself so busy all the time, but I do. But we just have a few things going on this week and this weekend. So, but I agree with them. It's the personal stories that capture you.
One thing that really helped me over these years is to write it all down.
Mhm.
Through that writing it down, then I consider and I can process it. And if sometimes I don't know why I'm seeing something, and I may not know for 3 weeks or 2 years later why I'm seeing it, but it's always really helpful to me to kind of process it as I'm getting it. And that kind of helped me get through the fog part of it. Because when you're just in that moment of kind of living it, it can be feeling kind of foggy, but really sitting down and asking your guides for clarification. Okay, why am I seeing this? Am I seeing this correctly? Is this what you want me to be seeing right now? And it is, oh, okay. And then I might get another picture. Well, why am I seeing that? Is this what you want me to see right now? And by really sitting down and having the intention of getting some clarity on that, that has actually helped me not be in that place of fog. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. For years, I didn't journal. Once I started journaling, that's when I started getting answers. So we can meditate and we can process, but when you put it in writing, there's something magical that happens. There's something that takes those words and your brain is saying, oh, now I get it. Now I see. And then, like Ruth said, ask for clarification also from the angels, and they'll guide you. But I wanted to make another comment about something you said, Jean, about you didn't feel like you had the experience, you didn't have the stories to tell. One thing I think that all of us do is comparison. Somebody has had a bigger experience or a better experience, or ever how we look at that. Each of us have our own experience. So it's not for us to look at somebody else and say, oh, I'm not that good. I'm not there yet. We are exactly where we're supposed to be at any given moment. So being gentle with ourselves and realizing that is one of the best things we can do for ourselves. And then wherever we are in that moment, just go with that and ask Spirit, what do I need to know now? Or what do I need to know next? And I think that's a lot of like doing books like this, books that make us really look and search and see things. It's going to just help us all, no matter where we are, whether you're a newbie to the whole spiritual realm, or you're one of those that's just running with it and teaching and out there on the front line. It doesn't matter. We're all in this together. So you're exactly where you need to be, and you are growing and you're developing, and it's a beautiful
I
thing.
haven't been journaling. And you both are telling me what the angels have been telling me. I will write things down when I get a thought, and I'll write them down. And I have like, in this house, I have like 10 journals with one line in it, and I go read them and I say, I wrote that. I don't even remember that I wrote that. And it's a lot similar to sometimes what I say at chanting or when during the healing. It's like, I finally have accepted that when I hear something during healing, I say it because it's not me. It's the angels or the healers saying it. But even in chanting and other places, I feel like I have to say this. Someone saying, say it. And I've got to stop that hesitation that I have to go ahead and say it. But I am working on that. And I think you're right about the journaling. I've got to gather all my 10 notebooks and copy all the lines that I have in one, and then continue to write in it. I think you're right. It's just that I believe it or not, I love writing.
Good.
But I can't seem to do a journal. I don't understand that.
Don't think of it as a journal.
Right.
I
Just
guess,
let it flow through you.
okay.
Want
It's a
to
lot-
throw in something too.
It's called automatic writing, when you just open up and just let it happen. Yeah, I'm sorry, Christina, I interrupted you.
No, Susan.
No,
Oh.
Suzanne.
Hi,
Can-
Suzanne.
Hi,
Welcome.
can you hear me? Is my microphone working?
Yes.
I just wanted to tap on that, what you said, Terry, because I can so relate to that before Jean responded, is not everybody's journey is the same. Because I have the same problem, like for a few years now, I'm dabbling, and I'm always so impressed when I read books, when I meet people, and I always think, oh my gosh, I don't have all those skills, blah, blah, blah. And then I feel unworthy, maybe quotation marks. But then somehow it's tuning back and leading me back to my own path, because it's not the same like person A, B, or C. So you have to have a lot of confidence, because that might not be for you. You learn a little bit about it. For me, for example, it's, I guess, mostly angels. And I think this and this, but it leads me back to the angels. And it's a process. It takes a while. I just want to say, don't get intimidated, because you don't have all those skills. And I don't know to do Reiki or other stuff, whatever all is mentioned, but I always have this inner knowing in myself, I'm on the right path, even if it takes a longer time, and I'm not going to get discouraged. Like, I started reading Ruth's book and I love it. I love your book, Ruth. It's so like totally well written. It captures me and I can so relate. And I don't have all these skills. I was like, man, I wish I could see what Ruth sees in all this. And here I'm getting caught again, but I'm like, okay, that's Ruth's journey. And maybe if I study a little more, I know more, but just, dial back and take your time. So I'm enthusiastically reading your book, Ruth. Only on page 75 so far, but I love it.
Your story, I'm sorry, your story about keys.
Oh,
I'm sitting there and I'm going, and to me, this relates to what we're talking about right now. You were able to take, okay, so here's peas. The thing was, is you accepted the way it was coming through. You didn't sit there and analyze and say, oh no, I mean, come on, who has a spirit guide that looks like mashed peas? You just accept it, you know? And I'm like, yes, that's it. Stop over analyzing, and maybe it is mashed peas. I don't know, but I really thought that story really resonated, because I agree with Jean. I definitely resonate with what she was saying. With the, I'm a frequent person that can sometimes go back to my old patterns of trying to, categorize myself as levels, when we're all supposed to be equal. And, but that story right there, it made me giggle. Oh, it did when I read about that story of peas. And then I'm like, yes, she just accepted it for what it was. That is so cool.
Yeah, sometimes, I don't know about you guys, I used to start almost every sentence with, I know this sounds crazy, but, and I feel like there's like 7 chapters of, I know this sounds crazy, but, and it wasn't really until EWN started coming into its own that I stopped saying that, because I had successfully surrounded my goosebumps. I'd successfully surrounded myself with people who got it. In my hope for all of you all, anybody who might read this book, is to find that community where you don't have to make those statements anymore.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because that was me when I started just, being more raw with what my life was all about. And, I had to just constantly like, you won't believe this, but,
That sounds crazy.
I know, because a lot of things that have happened, the experiences that I've happened, I'm like, people would lock me up if I told them about this. They think I need to be in that room, that padded room, all by myself. But it's all there for us all to look at and to learn from. And, maybe you'll never have some of the experiences that other people have, but you have your own experiences. And it's okay to share those. We're not going to think you're crazy. We're not going to lock you up, because we're all having the same illusion, same dreams.
I always start my sentences with, I know this sounds crazy, but I gotta stop it. And that's what's good about EWN, is that you feel safe here. Feel like nobody's going to think you're crazy in any way. So, I should get over that. And I try to, but every now and then it just comes out. So
I think it depends in what circles you walk, Jean. I have certainly some friends that are absolutely Christian and go by nothing else but the Bible. So I won't even bring those things up to them, because I know I don't have to convince them. But then I have a whole huge other group who is, like you fellows, and I know I'm home, and can talk about that. So I know where to not, do this and where to. I don't know if that sounds weird, but yeah.
I like what, I'm sorry, Ruth. We can hardly hear you, so sometimes I talk on top of you. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I love what you said, that when you found, and that has been me since the beginning, is you found that church isn't really important. What's important is finding the love. And that's something I knew even from a little girl that I was raised Catholic. And I knew it didn't feel right because the love wasn't there. The love, the unconditional love, most religions have judgment. You do this, you do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. and you can't find a place where you feel like you're just loved for being who you are. And that was the main thing. And it's like I said somewhere on one of the other programs, it's been so many, that once I found that, then I stuck to it. I wasn't a rebel anymore. I was just stuck to the love and the truth of that. So
Beautiful. I have two things. Let's say hello to Kathy, who's watching us from the lab today. She is at work.
Hi.
We're missing your face on here, but we're here with you, and thank you for jumping in. And Linda, I think you had started to say something.
I was going to say to Ruth, it is so nice to have a group, because when you say, you're not going to believe this, but we're actually apologizing ahead of time. And we're also thinking the other person's going to judge us according to their beliefs, but we don't really believe in their beliefs. So it doesn't matter, but we're so conditioned, like Jean said, according to expectations of religion and family, and we oughta, shoulda, coulda. And it's nice to join a group, and on the same day you feel loved and you feel understood and you get it. And there's so many people in this world that don't live close to another person that they could just have a cup of coffee with or drive over and they get it. So this takes away a lot of barriers. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I love the fact that Archangel Michael asked me to write this book. I had zero intention of it, zero. And when he asked me to be journaling everything that I was going through, and then he said, write a book, I thought, and I know we talked about this the other day, I thought, okay, that means I have to come out of the closet now. And that was really scary for me. So, I applaud all of you who are able to come on and speak your truth, because that took me quite a while.
And it's taken all of us some time, honestly. I don't think there's a person sitting here that didn't take some time to maybe come to that point. Maybe that's part of the wisdom that we get with the experiences in life. I don't know. I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think I've heard in the past, with our discussions, that's part of it.
For me, this was one of the challenges from Ellie O'Shea's book, Get Out of Your Comfort Zone. The Zoom meetings, I never ever in my life did Zoom meetings before. I guess now I don't even think about it anymore, but the first couple meetings were challenging for me because, boy, but I'm okay.
Good.
And really jumped right into the fire, Susanna, because that book had us go so deep and expose our very rawest things inside of us.
Yeah, I feel like I jumped into a volcano.
Beautiful. Yeah, there is something to that, to being so exposed, and that's what we do when we tell our stories. But we do it, right? We do it not to say, hey, look at me. We do it to say, look at what can happen. And I remember when I wrote one of my books, and I was just listening to what should go in there, and I kept arguing with my spirit guides. I kept saying, I can't put that in the book. Are you crazy? Like, I can't share that. That's just way too personal. I can't put that in. And the answer I kept getting back was, it's going in the book. Just very matter of fact. And I'm like, I can't. Are you sure? Am I hearing this right? You know how sometimes we question, am I really hearing this? And I'm so glad that I added that part in my book, because it brought out so many discussions from people about them and their experiences that were very similar to what I had gone through. It helped people. So whenever you're questioning, should I share this moment? Should I share something I've been through? If you're hearing that from spirit, share it, because there's a reason for it, not just for you to share your story, but there's somebody that needs to hear your words. Just like I know that so many need to hear the words that are in this book. So many need to hear the experiences. They need to hear whatever was brought out. And there's different parts that are going to touch different ones of us. You know, we're going to relate to something and really run with that. And I call it following the breadcrumbs. So when we see something or hear something, and then all of a sudden our brain goes off on this journey, we're following what that was supposed to click inside of us. We're learning from it. We're growing from it. This is a book about growth, about spiritual growth, and helping us to do that. Are y'all finding that you're like going on your own little journey as you're reading some of these stories?
I think one thing that was a revelation for me just recently between reading the book and listening to yesterday to the clearing is that I'm a master of not sitting still. I think I avoid at all costs. I'm a master of not sitting and listening. That just came to me. I was like, you never sit still. You're always busy yourself with something. And I have to learn to sit still. And maybe that's why I don't hear, because I don't listen. Maybe I'm afraid to listen to what I will hear. I'm not sure what it is, but that just came up for me that I have to work on that. Be still and listen. I don't think I'm doing it. So that's my goal.
That's a great awareness.
Mm-hmm. Scary.
For me, one of the things that's really sort of the backbone of this book was how lonely I was.
Mhm.
I was so alone here in the physical realm. I had Archangel Michael, I had Archangel Raphael. I had no one I could talk to. And part of why EWN is here is because I don't want anybody to ever feel that way. It was awful. And Jean, I can tell that this is touching you. Have you felt that aloneness too?
Absolutely. Almost always, as far as I can remember. Until I found those who were feeling the things I was feeling and understanding the things that I was understanding. Yes, yes. That's why it was so amazing to me. It was almost like, well, not that, but you know how Paul was knocked down on the road, and was that instantaneous when and I don't even know how. My husband asked me the other day, how did you get involved? I said, I have no idea, except I do remember seeing Terry and the cup of coffee on the river when we had coffee on the river. And it just, I knew this was right. So I kept watching more and more and more. And, and it didn't take a long time for me to know that this is where I wanted to be. And this is where I was going to find what I was looking for. This was, so, but even as a child, well, I could tell from your book, you too, that there was this aloneness. This really, a lot of times I thought it was because we were in survival mode. My brother and my sister and I were in survival mode. But I realized now it was more than that. It was not having a soul friend or a soulmate that understood what I was trying to understand. So, and I was always the nuns hated having me in class because I always asked questions. I questioned everything they said, and I was not a bad kid. I wasn't really a bad kid, but I just questioned. So, no, it's, I don't feel alone anymore. The other day when I said that I think I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life, I really do believe that. even though I cry sometimes, but I'm the happiest that I've ever been in my life.
They're good tears.
Wow.
Mhm.
I'm accepting that right here, Jean. Thank you so much for saying that.
True, it's true.
And you were so
If you
lucky.
have tears, if you have tears when you're in a group like this, it shows that you feel accepted, that we understand that we're not going to think, why is she crying? Or, I mean, it's just a given that we feel our hearts with you when you feel that way. But my point is, isn't it lovely to feel arms around you, that you don't have to worry about things like that?
That's true. I feel totally free in this group to just, no, I just love you all so much you can't even imagine.
Thank you.
That
You are
spilling out to everybody. I got to where I just, I just love people. I would have told you a year ago I love dogs more than I love people. And I do love dogs a lot, but I feel for people now, for human beings, I see them as me, as part of me, as like we were all made from the same clay and we're all trying to get back together. So it's changed my life.
We're walking each other home.
Exactly. Thank you, Charlie.
Yes, thank you, Charlie, for reminding us of that. And Kathy says, I often have tears. So it's okay. Tears are a good thing. They're a good thing. And I think now it's more tears of joy and tears of compassion and understanding, more so than loneliness and what I know. I used to cry myself to sleep at night when I was a kid. That feeling of loneliness, nobody understands. There's nobody for me. So I think the majority of us have been there, right? Feeling that loneliness.
And that's one reason we appreciate it so much, because we've been to where each other is or has been. We've all experienced that, so we appreciate it that much more.
Well, part of what was interesting for me was I wanted a mentor so bad. I wanted someone to sit down with me and say, this is where you've been, this is what you've learned, this is what you saw, and this is where you're going. And I couldn't find one. And whenever I would say to Archangel Michael or Archangel Raphael, I want a mentor so bad, they would say, well, how can anybody in a body tell you where you've been and where you're going? No one in a body has any idea what is laid out for you, what's laid out for your future. No one can possibly tell you where you're going. We're your mentors. Divine Mother is your mentor. And then I was able to let go of that physical desire for somebody here in the physical realm. Although I will tell you, I don't know if any of you have seen Beth Wright. She does yoga on Tuesdays and she's done some of the meditations a day. I wrote about her in this book because I was at that place of thinking, I must have lost my mind. I don't have anybody here I can talk to about this. I have no idea what any of this means. And I was guided on the internet to a chakra class, and it was taught by Beth Wright. And she lived in New Mexico. Well, we live in Colorado. And I said, I had not texted her, but reached out to Beth, and she did sessions. And I said to my family, guess what, guys, we're going to Santa Fe. And we went to Santa Fe. I met with Beth Wright, and I walked in, and the first thing she said was, I can't believe how many guides you have. And she was the one who said to me, you are not crazy. This is who I'm getting goosebumps. This is who I see right here in the room with you right now. This is what I see. She said, I see a book. I see you're writing a book in 5 years, within 5 years. And I thought, no, that's nuts. I have no intention of writing a book. And in less than a year, this was out. But Beth was the one that grounded me into the physical realm and said, yes, what you were experiencing in spirit is true. It's real. And we want to be able to provide that for you. We want to be your Beth Wright. If you need somebody to say, yeah, let me hear, let me see. We can be that for you if you need it.
Thank you.
I still thank God for Beth Wright.
She's
Absolutely.
amazing.
She's amazing.
Oh, well, don't throw anything at me, but I'm looking at the clock. And we're going to have to bring this to a close for today. I so appreciate every one of you that are here. Those of you that are with us online, thank you for being here with us today. And thank you, ladies, for being real and raw and opening up to spirit. That's what you're doing. You're opening yourself up. And I appreciate so much the words that you feel safe, that you feel like you are home here, because I certainly feel that way myself. And that's what we're trying to just have, just to create here, is that place where no matter what you say, no matter who you are, what you've done, it's not about any of that. It's about coming home and seeing each other as we really are, without judgment or criticism, just allowing it to flow and allowing it to happen. And I love this book club. You all are so dear to me. I never had a thought before about creating a book club, but once it happened, this has been a great experience every week with all of you. And I just want to thank you for being here, and thank you, Ruth, for writing this book for us all to enjoy, and that brings us to such a good place, a place of exploring, a place of opening up to possibilities. That's what I feel with this book. We're all opening to possibilities, what can be possible for us. So thank you. And we'll just see if there are any last words before we get off of here, so that we can go meditate after this. What a wonderful idea to have an openness here, an open discussion, and then go sit with that in the meditation that's coming up.
I wanted to say quickly to Ruth that we talked about the experiences in the book, and that we each have our own experiences, but isn't it nice to have an experience together, like the book club? So thank you for writing the book.
Ruth, anything for us for the next meeting? Do we have homework?
If you are open to it, I encourage you to think about those game-changing moments in your life.
Inside
Just journal them down. Just journal them down.
Don't think of it as journaling.
Yeah.
I think that word, sometimes we back away from it. We're like, oh, I don't want to do another journal. Everybody's journaling. Let's look at it as really getting in touch with us. Getting in touch.
I don't think it's bad that you have a bunch of one-liners. I have a bunch of one-liners, and I have probably more than 10 notebooks at least that and they disappear, and then sometimes they show back up again, and I'll be like, oh, where have you been? And I've said this before with the journaling, you can even draw. Like, you don't have to use words. If you don't want to use words, or if maybe those words come to you in the form of songwriting, or, I mean, it's just that added component. I don't think there's a right or wrong way to journal either. I'm just saying.
It's so true. I found little treasures along the way. I'm like, I don't remember writing that. When did I write that? So what I've started doing is like putting dates now, because I'll find something. It could even be on a piece of paper in a box, and I'll find that, and I'm like, when did I do that? What was I thinking? Where was I in life at that point that I wrote that? That's pretty good. So yeah, I'm with you, Christina. It's a great thing that you have all that started. It's a start. It's a beginning.
Well,
Now
not
grow
only
with it.
that, but Jean, if you have some of your one-liners and you would like to maybe see them made into memes with photos attached, just send them to Terry.
Yeah. I love doing that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Awesome. You all are beautiful. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week with Dr. Ruth Anderson. I'm pretty sure I'll still be here in Colorado. I'm kind of being told just to sit still right now. And hi, Ringo.
Say hi.
Hello, everyone.
He just, if you could see his face when we talk, he just sits there and he stares like this, seeing a light or something. It's amazing. I hold him like this
He's
like
the
a baby.
EWN mascot. He has more camera time than some of the people at EWN.
No, he does. But he's a good boy. He doesn't fuss or anything. He just stares like something's going on. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it.
Well, thank you for sharing him with us. We all feel like he's ours. All right. Well, thank you all.
Thanks,
We're going to get off
ladies.
of here and stay tuned here at Enlightened World Network. We have a lot going on today. You'll find something every hour today here at Enlightened World Network. And coming up next is Reverend Jason Watts with a beautiful meditation. Stay tuned.
So much love to each and every one of you.
Absolutely.
You too.